All right, so getting ready for a pharmacy technician interview. Well, that's exciting. We're going to dive deep into some resources today that can honestly help you just totally crush it. We're talking tips, sample questions, maybe even some insights into what the interviewers are actually looking for, like almost a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, it really is all about being prepared, right?
Uh-huh.
And understanding the whole process, like from both sides.
Exactly. So our main source today is an article called 20 Pharmacy Technician Interview Questions and Answers. And, one of the things that it really emphasizes is that in most states, certification, it's like a non-negotiable for pharmacy
Oh,
technicians.
yeah, absolutely. The PTCB, so that's the Pharmacy Technician Certification Board,
Mm.
they're kind of the gold standard. So if you're already certified, like, make sure you highlight that, like, front and center.
Mm.
But if you're still working towards it, let them know that you're on the path. It really does show, like, commitment and initiative.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. They want to know that you've got the knowledge and the drive to really excel in this role. So let's talk about experience for a second. What if you're fresh out of school or like switching careers? What then?
I think that's really where your enthusiasm and your willingness to learn, that becomes super important. So instead of dwelling on what you don't have, what you lack, you really want to showcase the experiences that you do have that demonstrate, your passion for healthcare.
Okay, so like instead of just saying I'm a fast learner, give them a real concrete example.
Exactly. Exactly. Like think back to maybe an externship you did,
Hmm.
or a volunteer position, maybe at a clinic, or even just like that time you helped a family member manage their medications. All of that, it adds up.
So even if it wasn't like a formal pharmacy role, it's about connecting the dots and showing them how those experiences have prepared you for this.
Exactly. Now, the article goes on to talk about the STAR method, and this is really useful for structuring your answers. So it stands for situation, task, action, and result.
Okay, I love a good framework, but can you give me an example of how that would like actually play out in a pharmacy technician interview?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say they ask you, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult customer. Okay. So to use the STAR method, you start by setting the scene. So that's the situation. So maybe a customer was like furious because their insurance wouldn't cover a specific medication. Then you describe the task at hand, right? So in this case, it would be calming the customer down and finding a solution.
Okay, so you've set the stage, right? What comes next?
Then you explain the action that you took. So did you listen patiently to their concerns? Did you explain the insurance situation clearly? Did you maybe try to find a suitable alternative? And then you wrap it up with the result, right? So were you able to resolve the issue to the customer's satisfaction?
I see. So it's all about like painting a picture for them,
Yeah.
showing them how you successfully navigated a challenging situation.
Exactly. Exactly. So the STAR method helps you showcase your skills, your problem-solving abilities, all of that. And it's not just for like technical skills.
Mm.
Think organization, customer service, even conflict resolution.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's about more than just knowing your medications, right? They're looking for someone who can handle like the interpersonal aspects of the job.
Right. I mean, think about it. A pharmacy can be a pretty hectic environment, right? You're interacting with patients, doctors, insurance companies, your, fellow pharmacy team. They want to know you can keep your cool and handle those interactions professionally.
That makes sense. Nobody wants a pharmacy technician who's like crumbling under pressure or, can't deal with a frustrated customer.
Exactly, exactly. And the article even highlights the importance of, showcasing your ability to handle conflict constructively, like with both coworkers and customers.
I bet that comes up a lot in interviews, like those conflict resolution
all,
questions.
all the time. And remember, it's not about like bad-mouthing anyone. Instead, focus on demonstrating your ability to find solutions to maintain a positive work environment.
Yeah, so if they ask about a time you disagreed with a coworker, you wouldn't throw them under the bus, right?
Oh, no, no, no. You just briefly explain the situation, what steps you took to resolve it, and the positive outcome that resulted from your actions.
Right. It's all about showing them that you can navigate those interpersonal dynamics, gracefully and professionally. Now, everyone dreads the what's your biggest weakness questions. Any advice on how to tackle those?
Well, I think the key is honesty, but framed positively. Because, everybody has weaknesses, right? It's about showing self-awareness and a willingness to grow. So, for example, let's say you sometimes struggle with taking criticism personally.
Ooh, I think a lot of people can relate to that one.
Right. It's totally normal. But you can turn this into a positive by explaining the steps you're taking to become more open to feedback.
Hmm.
Like maybe you've started actively seeking constructive criticism or practicing mindfulness techniques. It shows maturity and, a commitment to personal and professional development.
It's like, turning a potential negative into a positive. It's not about pretending to be perfect. It's about showing them that you're always, striving to be better. Now,
Yeah.
something I thought was really fascinating about this article is it gives tips for the employers, too.
Yeah, it's like getting a glimpse into their minds, right, during the interview process.
Exactly. And it really emphasizes that, it's a two-way street. Like both sides should be respectful of each other's time and really aim to create like a positive experience.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The article highlights how important it is for employers to really understand the role. Ask a good mix of professional and personal questions, and to provide clear timelines and feedback to candidates.
Like making the candidate feel valued and giving them a sense of what it would actually be like to work there. Okay, before we move on to some specific sample questions, there's one more thing I'm kind of curious about. Thank you notes. Like, are those still a thing in today's digital world?
Oh, they totally are. In a world of, emails and texts, a handwritten thank you note, it can really make you stand out. It shows that you're thoughtful, that you appreciate the opportunity that they've given you.
It's a small gesture, but it can make a big difference. Okay, you ready to dive into some actual interview questions and
Yeah.
like, how to craft those winning answers?
Let's do it. Okay, so let's jump into some of those like, common interview questions that you might encounter. And a real classic one is tell me about yourself, and your background. It
Yeah.
seems simple enough, right? But there's a real art to like answering it effectively.
Yeah, I can see how that could be tricky. It's so open-ended. Like, where do you even start?
Yeah. So think of it as an opportunity to like highlight the experiences and skills that make you like, the perfect fit for this specific role.
Mm.
So you don't just want to like regurgitate your resume, right? Focus on the parts that are relevant to pharmacy
Mhm.
and healthcare.
So how would you like tailor your answer if, say, you were transitioning from a completely different field?
Well, actually, the article gives a really great example of this, of someone who went from being a waitress to a pharmacy technician. And so their answer really focused on uh, their passion for healthcare, the steps they took to pursue this new career path, and how their previous experience, even though it was in a totally different field, it really helped them develop transferable skills like customer service and multitasking.
Makes sense. It's about like showing them how your past experiences, even those that seem like, totally unrelated, have kind of like led you to this point.
Exactly, exactly. Let them see your genuine interest and how, like, your journey has prepared you for this role. Okay, so another question you might get is about pharmacy management systems.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those are crucial for, keeping everything organized and efficient. Like those are the brains of the pharmacy, right?
Exactly, yeah. And if you have experience with specific systems, like, absolutely mention them. But even if you don't, like, don't panic, right? And you can still totally ace this question. Just focus on your willingness to learn and highlight any transferable skills that you have.
Like what kind of skills?
So, like,
Mhm.
are you tech savvy? Have you quickly learned new software in the past? That's really valuable because, employers want to see that you're adaptable, that you're eager to master new tools because, let's face it, technology in healthcare, it's constantly evolving.
Right. It's all about showing them that you can keep up and stay ahead of the curve. Okay, so what about those questions that are like really designed to see how you handle like pressure? Like how would you deal with, multiple prescriptions coming in at once or a customer who's just, having a really bad day?
Yeah, those are definitely designed to test your mettle. So for the multitasking scenario, you want to showcase your organizational skills and your ability to prioritize tasks effectively. So maybe you have like a system for keeping track of prescriptions,
Hmm.
or you always double check for accuracy, even when things get really hectic.
Right, because even when it's like super busy, patient safety is the top priority.
Absolutely. So you need to demonstrate that you can stay calm and
Hmm.
focused under pressure. As for dealing with those difficult customers, empathy and problem solving, those are your superpowers.
So it's about more than just like, placating them. It's about truly listening and finding like a real solution.
Exactly. And the article emphasizes the importance of acknowledging their concerns,
Yeah.
like, finding out what's really bothering them, and then taking those steps to address the situation. So it's not about, like, placing blame. It's
Yeah.
about finding a positive outcome for everyone involved.
So it's kind of like being a detective, right? Gathering information and then using your skills to like crack the case and find a resolution.
I love that analogy. Okay, so let's talk about a question that often trips people up. What is your biggest weakness?
Ugh, yeah, I hate that one. It feels like a total trap.
I know, right? But remember, everyone has weaknesses. So the key is to be honest and frame it positively, you know, demonstrating self-awareness and a desire to improve.
So don't try to pretend that you're like perfect.
No, not at all. The article gives an example of someone who admitted to struggling with taking criticism personally, but they were actively working on becoming more receptive to feedback.
I think that's something that a lot of people like struggle with. So that's a great example of how to like, turn a perceived weakness into an opportunity for growth.
Exactly. And it shows that you're, committed to continuous learning and development. Now, teamwork is another crucial aspect of, working in a pharmacy. So how would you answer a question about your ability to, like, collaborate effectively?
Well, I guess I'd start by thinking about like specific examples from, my past experiences where teamwork was really essential.
Perfect. Think about projects you've worked on, like whether it was in a previous job,
Yeah.
a volunteer role,
Yeah.
or even a school group assignment. Like, what role did you play? How did you contribute to the team's success? Did you encounter any challenges? And how did you overcome them? The article really highlights the importance of being a supportive teammate,
Yeah.
encouraging others, and working towards that common goal.
Right. So it's about showing them that you're not just, in it for yourself, but that you understand the value of collaboration
Hmm.
and that you can contribute to a positive team dynamic.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's a question that might seem pretty straightforward, but it can actually reveal a lot about your commitment to the field. Why are you interested in this role?
I feel like it's easy to like, fall into the trap of giving a generic answer.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. But this is your chance to, like, let your passion shine through.
Yeah.
Go beyond just meeting a job and talk about what truly draws you to, like, the world of pharmacy. Maybe you're fascinated by the science of medications, or you find fulfillment in helping people feel better. What makes this more than just a paycheck for you?
Right. It's about finding meaning and purpose in the work. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. What about salary expectations? Is that something you should, bring up in the interview or wait for them to ask?
Yeah, that's a bit of a delicate dance. The article suggests doing your research beforehand, right? So you have a realistic idea of the going rate for pharmacy technicians in your area, and if they ask about your salary expectations, be honest
Yeah.
and transparent.
Right.
But if they don't bring it up, it's usually best to wait for them to kind of initiate that conversation.
Makes sense. You don't want to jump the gun or anything. Okay, I'm feeling a lot more confident now. How about we try some like rapid fire questions?
Well, I like your
Um,
enthusiasm. Let's do it. Okay, first one. How would you handle a situation where you notice a discrepancy in a prescription?
Whoa, okay. That's a big one. I would immediately double check everything, consult with the pharmacist and make absolutely sure that I'm, following all of the safety protocols because, accuracy is so critical in this role and patient safety is like the top priority.
Excellent answer. It's clear that you understand the gravity of that situation. Okay, next question. What steps do you take to maintain patient confidentiality?
Ooh, that's crucial. I would be extremely mindful of hypo regulations. Never discuss patient information in like public areas,
Mm.
and always dispose of sensitive documents properly. Confidentiality, it's a cornerstone of this profession.
You're on a roll. Okay, last one. How do you stay up to date with new medications and pharmacy regulations?
Well, the field is constantly evolving, so continuous learning is like a must. I definitely utilize resources like PDCB website, subscribe to relevant industry journals, and take advantage of any continuing education opportunities that are available.
Bravo, you aced those rapid fire questions. It's clear you've been paying attention and absorbing all this valuable information.
Well, thanks to this deep dive, I feel much more prepared.
Yeah.
and confident about, tackling my interview.
That's fantastic to hear. But before we wrap up, I have one final thought-provoking question for you to consider.
Okay, yeah, hit me with it. What should I be thinking about?
So imagine you're the one conducting the interview, right? What questions would you ask to determine if someone's, like the right fit for that pharmacy technician role?
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, let me think. I think I definitely want to know about like the pharmacy's culture. Like, is it a collaborative environment? What's the management style like? That sort of thing. And I'd probably also be curious about like, what kind of training programs they offer and what opportunities there are for professional development.
Those are all really great questions. I mean, it shows that you're not just looking for, any job. You're looking for the right fit,
Mm.
and you're thinking long term about your growth and development within that pharmacy.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Right.
turning the tables a little bit, right?
Mm.
And showing them that you're genuinely interested in their organization and what they can offer you.
Exactly. It shows initiative
Yeah.
and that you're already like, envisioning yourself as part of the team. And remember, the interview process, it really is a two-way street. It's about finding the right fit for both parties involved.
Well, this deep dive has been honestly incredibly helpful. We've covered so much from, how to showcase your skills and experience to understanding like, what's going on in the interviewer's mind and even, thinking like an employer.
Yeah, and I think, preparation really is key. The more you practice your answers, research the company, and think about those questions that you might ask, the more confident and prepared you'll feel walking into that interview.
And remember, let your enthusiasm for pharmacy shine through.
Mhm.
It's contagious and it'll definitely make a positive impression on the interviewer.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of that handwritten thank you note after the interview. It's a small gesture, but it can go a long way in showing your professionalism and appreciation.
So, to anyone out there who's getting ready for a pharmacy technician interview, you got this. Remember what we've talked about today. Practice those STAR method answers and, go in there and just knock it out of the park.
Yeah, we're cheering you on. Good luck.